So other than Courtney, tell me about the other siblings that you said live in your house.
Yeah, so it's my other siblings, my older brother Corey, and then my younger sister Sydney. Corey's 24, I think, and then Sydney is 16. She turns 17 in August. So Sydney's like a really good student. You know, she's like straight A's. I'm not, but it's
She's
fine.
the star pupil.
She's the star pupil. Yeah, I love these people. She's the star pupil. She you know, she plays a lot of sports. She always has. You know, she just came out as a lesbian, which is like undue stress. Not that it's stressful on my mom. Not that she like hates it or anything. She better
It's
not.
just a shocker.
Yeah, it was just a shocker. You know, like oh god, and yeah. So and she's with this like girl, who she's like clearly not happy with you know, and it makes me feel bad. And Sydney handles like these situations and my like everything with my parents and my brother and stuff, which we'll talk about in a little bit. About like she handles it a lot differently. You know, she cries and it breaks her down. And I feel like I have to be the strong sibling. I have to be like the rock.
Setting a good example.
Yeah, I have to always set a good example for Sydney, and I have to. You know, Sydney's my first focus. I love Sydney and I care about her, and I know that no matter what happens to the older two siblings, that Sydney will always be on the right track. No matter what happens to me, Sydney will always be on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
She's gold, and you know I feel like I have to protect her, and I have to you know keep her safe from all this crazy stuff that's happening with my family that me and her never asked for, but we're subject to, you know. And then my older brother Corey, actually just got sent back to jail for violating probation. He had a dirty drug test for heroin.
So why was he on probation in the first place?
He so when he was 16 years old, he drove a car and him and his friend Ghost over to this guy's house, and they were just gonna steal pot from this guy. You know, that's terrible. They shouldn't have done it. But you know, that's all they were gonna do. They were just gonna go in and steal some. And I would move the mouse if I were you. They were gonna go steal pot from this guy, but you know, they walked in and Ghost shot the guy dead in his living room. He killed him right in front of my brother.
Was your brother with him?
Yes, like.
So he was like a, what would that be
He was like
called?
the driver. He drove.
Yeah.
And he was an accessory.
Yes,
That's what you're looking
there
for.
you
And so he, you know, I'm in 6th grade and I come home and we go down to my grandma's house, who lives right down the street. Corey's grandma, not my grandma. Corey's only my half brother. Like me and Sydney have the same dad. Corey has a different dad and Courtney has a different dad, but Corey's dad's in prison. Talk about that. And then Courtney's dad's also in prison.
Okay.
And so I come home, you know, I'm in 6th grade, and I come home from school, and I go down the street to my grandma's house where we all have dinner, and everyone's sitting around the table, and me and Sydney walk in, and we're like, what's up? And, you know, my mom's like, tells us everything that happened, and everyone's just, like, bawling around me, and I don't feel anything. You know,
because you don't know what's really going on.
Like, I didn't grasp the concept of what happened, and, you know, my older brother, who I had, you know, looked up to, you know, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. Like, anything that he did before that, up to this point, like he went to jail, and for 9 months after the shooting, Ghost's family was harassing my brother into not saying anything because there was no evidence. But then my brother, he couldn't keep that on his conscience. So, he turned everyone in, or whatever. They did his time. He got sentenced to 20 years. But with time served and with good behavior, he got out in like 4 or 5 years. So fast forward to my junior year, I'm sitting in chemistry class with my friend Logan and Jenna in Miss Hallquist's chemistry class. I remember it perfectly. And I get there's an announcement, Connor Phillips going out in the front office, your mother's here. And I was like, oh, I must have left my homework or my binder or something at home. She's bringing it to me. And I go down there, and you know, there's this guy standing there, like my brother. I know it's him, but you know, he's so different from when I saw him. I visited him in prison, but then he got transferred and I couldn't see him anymore. And you know, I just see this tall guy with tattoos on the side of his head and like on his neck and just all the way down his body. He's just covered in tattoos, like this man who I don't know who he is anymore. Like, and he came out of prison. He was angry, and he was just so mad all the time. And after this, we can stop. But he was so mad all the time, and he was just so angry, and you know, he did well on his probation, you know, up until he had that dirty drop and got sent back to jail. And, you know, for the entire time he was in jail, it was my mom and my entire family, house Corey, house Corey, house Corey, house Corey, house Corey. And, you know, I'm over here living my life, and I'm getting, and I know it may sound dumb or something, but I'm getting no attention from my own mother. You know, I see my mom crying, you know, every single night before she goes to sleep about my brother, and I'm like, I
That's
can't.
like her main focus.
It was
in your
always,
kinda life.
it was always Corey. And no matter what happened, you know, it was always about Corey. It was always sending money to Corey. And with the money we spent on a lawyer for him, you know, I'm glad we did. But, you know, I could have went to a 4-year university for like nothing with all the money they spent. And my mom was always stressed out about doing these like green dot cards, as she called them, sending money to prisoners for, you know, Corey to get a cigarette every once in a while. And it was just always shorting us food in the house and just shorting us all the time because of what Corey needed. And from here on out, I feel like it's just always been what Corey's needed or what Courtney's needed. It's always been focused on the addicts and not the successful members of the family.
Yeah.
And it really tears away at you. And you see like your sister and your mom crying like for 5 years straight. Your mom, you know, is so stressed out that she wears herself down to like 120 pounds of sticks and bones, and just this like, she was so sad all the time. And it's so terrible to see your mother like that. And it was just awful.
So you said you're
Pause
gonna
the
be
video.